All right, everybody, to the stream. Um, I'm up on my other screen right now because I had an NPM package for. Think with exist. I'm authorizing my GitHub. And there we go. Oh, worry about this. Good. There. So what are we gonna do today? And there's a piece of code. Slash that does full stack dyno. Couldn't even remember the name of the repo that I worked on so much 3 months ago. But inside of here, we've got packages. Put my, did I add a libs? Yeah, here we go. RxJS operator. So within RxJS operators, I have this logObservable operator. And I keep adding this all over the place. Pretty simple operator. It just takes some ideas from this article a long time ago and adds a couple of things to it. Mainly the ability to track by colors and things like that. So what I want to do is put that up on NPM because I've found myself wanting to use this like at work or other places. It's just a debugging library, nothing super powerful or anything like that. But one of the things I've never done is publish something to NPM. So it would be a lot of fun to just go through and figure out how to do this, get this live. I wanted to work with like a CMS today. I just haven't had time this week. This week's been pretty crazy. Trying to get some more demos done for work. So I think this would be. I mean, this is something I've wanted to do, and it'll give us a nice break. But it will also allow us to talk about, how would we unit test this, right? To make sure that we're not breaking things. And there's some other things that I want to do, like these background colors are kind of terrible. And we can take a look at why. But it would be really nice to just have this be an NPM package, and then be able to. That's kind of the goal today. So the first thing I want to do didn't upgrade. Get WebStorm going. The other thing we want to do, actually, we don't want WebStorm because we don't have anything to open it in. What we do want is here. We'll go to the dev directory we're just going to grab a command prompt here. Go ahead, grab the command prompt, and what we want to do is just pnpm create, and I believe we could just do a new NX. We just go here and we go nx.dev. Go to the documentation. I should just create NX workspace. Okay. I'm glad I came and looked, because I always try to start with pnpm and then it makes a mess. And so this is the better way to do it. So we're going to use npx. We're going to create the NX workspace. We're going to use it. npx create NX workspace. And then the --pm tells it that we're going to use the pnpm package method. Yep, we're going to use 18.3.3. That's the latest. And so now it's going to go out and grab all the packages that we need. The workspace we want to create, we're going to call this logObservable. logObservable. And we are going to minimal structure. We want to use Angular. We don't want standalone. We want it integrated, because we want to use a library, and we'll use the app to validate our project. But we definitely want the library. So we're going to do that. The application name will also be. And which bundler do we want to use? We're going to use ESBuild because Angular. We're going to CSS. Don't really need CSS. We also don't need SSR or SSG because we're just publishing a library. We'll stick with Cypress. At some point, I want to learn Playwright, but for right now, we'll stick with Cypress. NX Cloud app. Skip this for now. But we may take a look at using NX Cloud also for our GitHub actions. I don't think we need, well, that's where that'll be interesting, right? If we configure GitHub actions properly, then other people can submit, and then it doesn't require manual. It wouldn't require manual publishing through npm. We can take a look at that too. But for right now, I just want to keep it as simple as possible. And we gotta wait while it just sits there and spins and goes through creating my workspace and sets everything up. Yes, I could have used verbose for this just so that we could see what it's doing. Like I do like that NX for a lot of commands doesn't show stuff, but right now, while I'm wondering what's going on, it would be nice to be like, oh yeah, okay, I know what's going on. But it's okay. Anyway, I guess while we wait for this to happen, I do want to let everybody know that Monday I will be traveling for work. So I won't be streaming Monday. I will be back Thursday, and I will also be streaming Sunday. So I'll just be missing the Monday stream next week. And then the week after, I'll be back on my normal streaming schedule. I'm trying to decide if, and you guys let me know. But I am trying to decide if maybe like moving my stream to Tuesday might make more sense. The reason that I didn't originally do Tuesday um, was back when I first started streaming, my daughter had dance on Tuesday night, and so I would go pick her up from dance or drop her off, stuff like that. Um, she doesn't have dance on Tuesday nights anymore. In fact, she's at dance tonight. So um, I am thinking because it would be nice to have, like the Sunday stream have a break, the Tuesday night stream have a break, and then Thursday night have a break. But if Monday works for everybody, let me know. Happy to keep how it is. Um, just curious if adding spaces in there will make it well. No, a lot of the reason why I'm missing streams right now to create works. Um, take a look at our log observer. Inside of here, it looks like everything's here. Um, created NX, created VS Code, created the node module, got our ESLint, MRC there. So it looks like we've got stuff. Interesting. So like if I do pnpm nx curve and just do log-observable, this should, in theory, give us the log observable page, and it looks like it's going to. It brought it up on the wrong screen. The browser, and that's my default browser. So if we come, we've now got, right, the default NX app. But that's not really what we're here for. But NX works, all installed, and it's all there. We are instead, and we can close. We can go ahead and shut this down. And just make sure that thing is date, everything looks up to date. The other thing we can do is we can just check, with our node and just make sure all of our stuff is at the latest before we start, and got some stuff to upgrade. Angular is a bit behind. RxJS that we'll be using. So ESLint plugins could be upgraded, all of that stuff. Sounds good. Let's get started. The first thing I want to do is let's go to Get Kraken, and let's get this up on GitHub. And once it's up on GitHub, we'll repository. Drive in my dev drive. Observable. This is the repo. Could not find repository at logObservable. Oh, it didn't initialize it here. We can just do a get init here. And so now we've got a repository there, and now I should be able to open that repo. Dev log observable open folder. So we need the initial commit, that's fine. And you know what? We'll just stage everything. We will commit this. Say that the repo created. There we go. We've now got our repo. The next thing we want to do is just push it to GitHub. Yes, send it to GitHub on my ShockMill account. Description. Full RxJS operator for debugging RxJS pipes. Public access is perfectly fine. So create it, we push it. There we go. You can go view it on GitHub. Bring that over here. And now we've got everything up on GitHub, right? Good place. All right. So we're up on GitHub. There's a lot that we need to do. The first thing I want to do is into settings. And so the repository logObservable is fine. Not a template. Require contributors to sign off on web-based commit. Enabling this setting will require contributors to sign off on commits made through GitHub's web interface. Signing off is a way for contributors to affirm their commit comply. I'll worry about that later. I can always turn it on later. On the default branch, I would like to rename that. Go ahead and rename that. Yeah. So now got our branches. Our main branch is named. Just do. I may have caused some problems here locally. Actually, already added renovate. Good. If we go here, I don't got a master. Yeah, that doesn't exist anymore. This should be, rename it here. Now I should be able to pull if I do. Boom. Yeah. So now we're in a good spot. So that's one thing I need to get doing is just renaming that branch. Anyway, so now we've got our branch. Now we can go back into our settings. It's all fine. Load an image to custom. Worry about that later. Wikis are fine. Issues are fine. We'll set up templates later. Worry about sponsors if anybody ever uses it, right? I mean, if anybody ever asks. Fine if it's part of the archive project. We definitely want discussions if this is something that we're going to publish on NPM. And projects is fine. So allow merge commits. Allow squash merging. I don't care. I don't care if they rebase. You know, I may develop an opinion if anybody ever commits. But right now, I feel strongly about it. I never really have. I prefer merge commits, and I don't like squashing. But I know a lot of other people like to squash, and I know a lot of people like to rebase, and none of those really bother me. Control how and when users are prompted to update their branches if there are new changes available in the base branch. Here, we do that. Waits for merge requirements to be met and then merges automatically. I don't know. Deleted branches will still be able to be restored. I do like to auto delete branches once they're merged. And part of the reason I like to do that is sometimes I'll push multiple PRs from the same branch, and it's nice that that branch is gone and it creates new stuff for me on the remote server. In archives, really care about Git LFS. We're not going to be pushing something that needs that. Be updated in a single push. They obtain to update more than this. Might turn that on if I need to. All that other stuff I don't care about. This is interesting. So I'll worry about this stuff later. Code limit to users explicitly granted read or higher. That might be good. I'm not going to worry about it until I need to worry about it. Branches, we do need a branch protection rule. And the branch that we want to protect is the main branch. And we want to make sure that there has to be a pull request merge into main. And we don't want anybody changing main, especially if we start doing like CI/CD stuff in the future. Require approvals. I do like to dismiss stale pull requests. We can worry about code owners in the future if they're. I mean, right now I'm the only person that can really do that anyway. And then yeah, we can say that that one must the most recent needs to be reviewed. We'll say that status checks. I'll worry about that later. I do like to require conversations to be resolved before merging. Find commits, linear history, I don't care. Deployments, worry about that later. Branches read only, yes. Do not allow bypass in the above setting. For right now, I want to review everything. And I can't review my own stuff, so I need to be able to bypass it. We'll create this. We're going to bring this over here. Now main is now a protected branch. Branch and main became brain when I tried to speak. Tags we'll worry about when there are releases, rule sets and all of that. Actions are nice. We can add those later. Code security and analysis. So yeah, enable vulnerability checking. Dependency graphs, good to know. Dependabot is good. We've already got renovate in place. That's just added automatically to all of my repos. So vulnerability, security, version. So vulnerabilities you want, because if there's a vulnerability in a package, we should fix it. Dependabot automatically attempting to open pull request to resolve every open Dependabot alert with an available patch. We'll try this one. I'll turn it off if it winds up being annoying, and definitely want to group them. because I don't want to do, well, no, disable that. And version updates are being handled by Renovate right now. Like code quality, we can set up a JavaScript, TypeScript, code quality, turn that on, just to make sure that we're producing good code and code smells are not causing problems. Check runs failure threshold. One thing that we definitely want to leave on is secret scanning and push protection. So people can't accidentally push secrets. I don't think there will be secrets, but I think leaving those on is always good. Deploy keys and stuff like that are things that we'll worry about later for like NPM when we set that up. And then you can set up secrets and stuff in here too. But we'll worry about that later if we start deploying to NPM from GitHub. But anyways, our repo is now set up. So yeah, the default branch is now main. And that's cool that it warned us about that. And it also says that, there's some code quality checks that are still running. I think we're good to go. If we go look at our pull requests, I've already got the Renovate pull request in. So let's go ahead and enable this one. All we have to do is, we can go in and we can add our review. It's just going to add the Renovate stuff to it. So we can say, yep, we agree. Submit our review. That went through. Base branch does not allow updates. Did it really try to open that against main? It did. No. I think I have this figured wrong. So lock branch will make a branch read only and ensures that no commits can be made to the branch. Locked branches can also not be deleted. Does not support. So I think locking the branch is the problem I made here. So we're going to go back. We're going to go to our main branch, and down here where I've got it locked is read only. This should do what I want anyway. Go ahead and save that, and now I should be able to merge that pull request. And yep, I can. So locking that is read only. So in other, I think it's Azure that I'm thinking of, but you can lock the branch so that from any other worker but Azure, the main branch is locked. And so everything has to go through a merge request, through a pull request. I was thinking that behaved the same way. It doesn't, but that's okay. We merge this in, and I don't think we have any more pull requests. Eventually, it's going to scan and pick all that stuff up, but we're going to go upgrade anyway. That will all go away. We're in a good place. We're going to go ahead and pull main branch. Everything's merged in, and now we're in a good place. So the first thing we want to do is let's just create a branch, and I named them after the stream that we're working on. So the stream will be April this. Almost put 2004. I've been living in the past today, I guess. But anyway, here we are. We're now in a place where we can go and update our npm package. So we're going to use no check updates to just look for what updates we've got. Telling us, hey, there's an upgrade. We'll go ahead and grab that. Run that really quick. But while that's running, we can see that we need to upgrade Angular. So we'll go ahead and upgrade Angular, and then RxJS and that kind of stuff. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to configure our prettier rules and stuff like that, so that I don't know that we need a lot of the prettier rules. I think we could probably just leave this the way it is because it's a library. We aren't doing a lot of the stuff, a lot of Angular projects. So that went really fast. Oh, that was the upgrade. That's why. So the first thing we want to do is we just want to say, hey, pnpm nx migrate. We want to migrate Angular 4, and that's going to grab most of what we see. We're still going to need to upgrade the CLI, and we're still going to need to upgrade the schematics, but those are the only ones that we'll really need to upgrade. The rest we can do through NCU. So, and this, I mean, just a lot of stuff to get projects set up. Luckily, it's not that difficult. So there's no migrations to run. So we're good. We're going to grab this and put it in our copy buffer for right now. But let's go ahead and run no check update again. We're going to see that we've got a few more Angular things here, right? One thing we can do, if we want to, is we can add a filter, and we can just filter it down to just Angular, which is nice if you're just looking to do certain packages. So we can see here that we've got, the dev kit with the build Angular and the dev kit core and the dev kit schematics and the CLI. I happen to know that if we upgrade the CLI, it's going to upgrade all of these, and that's going to leave us with just the Angular schematics. So we're going to go with pnpm nx migrate. And that is a common typo I always make, migrate. I'm struggling to type. There's the CLI. Yeah. This will be good. There have been so many projects where I've got like an RxJS stream, and I really want this in the project, but then I've got to go, I create the library, I go copy it, paste it into the library, and it'll be nice to have this somewhere where now I can just go, hey, npm install this package, and we're good to go. And that's why I spent some time creating the npm account like that. And part of the reason why I'm doing this is that it's something that, when I'm traveling, I'm not going to forget what I learned about CMS. And while I'm traveling, I could take some of the downtime in the hotel to just start doing some research, maybe get a CMS set up. So I imagine there's dev key stuff to do and things like that. And then just learning how to get the content out of it so that I can show everybody. So the last thing we want to do is pnpm nx migrate at schematics / Angular. And the reason that I'm using migrate for these and not for the others is Angular, like there are certain projects that tend to have Angular migrations, and I've just learned what they are over the years. You could go in and do migrate on everything, it winds up being a little bit tedious if it's not doing a whole bunch of things. So that's why I like to use a combination of migrate and NCU. The main reason I use migrate is that it knows how to look for the Angular migration files and update them. So it found two deprecated dependencies. But at this point, if we use NCU and take the filter off, we should see, yeah, now we don't have any Angular. All the rest of this stuff we can upgrade using NCU, which is a nice experience. The only thing we're not going to upgrade is ESLint. I don't know. I'll take a look at the plugin for Cypress too. But the first thing to do is, now that we've done all this upgrading, and we can already see here that it's upgraded talking about our dependencies. So one thing to do is we just go Volta list here. And we can see that we're on node 18, and we could do better. So we'll go take a look at that on the Angular site and make sure we get our dependencies locked. But for right now, we upgraded Angular. Go ahead and push that. Merge it after the stream tonight. And what this is saying is, our types node is out of date, and our TS node, the TS node dependency. I didn't realize that. Interesting. Anyway, let's go take a look at Angular.dev. Inside of here, we want compatibility. Version compatibility. This is what we were looking at. So we can see that it's compatible with node 29, like 20.9 or up, compatible with any version of TypeScript that's greater than 5.2 but less than 5.5, and any version of RxJS greater than 7.4. So let's get our node fixed. And to do that, we can just do Volta pin, and we can just say, hey, we want to pin node at the latest version of, or we want to pin node at the latest version of 20, right? And so we successfully pinned node at 20 with npm at 10. So now if we go and we do a node -v, we'll see that we're at 20.12.2. And if we do a Volta list, we'll see that our current, right, before we were on 18.19 with the default, now our current is on 2012.2. So that is in place. Say, hey, let's stage this file. We say that we pinned node Volta. So if somebody happens to be using Volta, which I do, then they'll get that help. If they don't, then they can, for whatever tool they're using, they can add stuff. That solves that problem. So the next thing to do is just look at NCU format group with an I and with a U. And -I is an interactive and -U is an upgrade. So it's going to go scan all of our packages, and it's going to automatically mark all of our patch packages. They should be backwards compatible. It's going to mark our minors, which I'm fine with. On this, we definitely want to go to version 20. ESLint, we're going to skip. We're not using Cypress. And I want to upgrade Prettier because I do like the latest version of Prettier. And these two I happen to know work just fine. So we will go ahead and install that. And then we can add our RxJS code, our library, and then we're ready to start working in that and making some changes that I want to make. But there we go. We're all good. So we'll go back here. Our work in progress. Usually when I do these, I just say that I upgraded dependency. Now we're on the latest version of everything in our repo, except for ESLint. And one thing we could do, go take a look. We don't have the ESLint from Renovate yet. But what we can do, let's go here and lose this one, but we'll open a new tab here. And if we go to look at our pull request, inside of here, we should see an ESLint. In here, yeah, ESLint. 6.2. Really? That's TypeScript ESLint. Not just have like an ESLint here. Let's see. Code. TypeScript ESLint. Regular monorepo. Interesting. So it hasn't created one here either. But I know that there's a lot of changes that need to happen with ESLint. So we're going to leave that one alone, but everything else we're good with. So at this point, we're ready to just jump into IDE. And open a project. logObservable project. We'll go ahead and open that one. There we go. We're in our project. Looking good. Like we got some plugin stuff. Highlights, case conversions. I'll take care of those later. It was like something else I may care, but here I don't really. So the first thing I want to do is I just want to run the NX generator and generate a library. Over here, over to NX console. Not just run a command. Anything. Cool. Really cool. I like that. Can I not just run the generator from here? Project graph. Cool that it shows that. Here. So the VS Code plugin, when you run it, allows you to run the generate from there, but we can run it from here. We're going to generate a library. And it's just going to be an Angular library. Exact priority in. So the name of the library is going to be will be the logObservable library. So we'll see down here. Oh, it doesn't like that. We've got apps logObservable and we've got logObservable. I should have thought about that. Is that a unique name for each project? Yeah. So what we can do to allow us to do that is we can go into apps/project.json. Inside of here, the name logObservable, you can just say logObservable app line. And that probably going to cause some issues. Figure that out later. Oh, logObservable logObservable. I think I probably need to go into the E out of here. Project.json. We'll close this. Logobservable-app. E and we close that. I think we're good. NX is going to complain. We need to refresh the workspace, I think. Oh, I messed up something in the nx.json. Inside of here, I'll bet there's a log. Interesting. Now if we go back to the NX generate, the library should be fine. Not going to be buildable, but it'll be publishable. Lazy, we don't care. Publishable, we do care about. Point to non-existent projects. Let's see if I pnpm nx graph here. Non-existent. Log-observable app EE and log-observable. Let's just see if I search for log-observable. Oh, here we go. So implicit dependencies on log-observable-app, that's fine. Needs to be app also. That I don't care about. I don't care about. We'll be cleaning that up soon. Faults. Web server commands. Okay, so this is the E to E. So this needs to be run log-observable-app. Also, and app also production, that one. Throw dash app in here. I save this file. Play name. Log-observable-app. Coverage directory. Log-app. I should have thought a little bit more about this. There's that one. That's fine. Oh, that's going into apps anyway. Apps. Build target. Need that one. Oops. I do. There's the build target. There's okay, so we did that one. Source root implicit dependencies has the app on it. Targets, we did that. That's fine. Fine. What am I looking at? Have log observable. App here also, I think. Fine. And the welcome component, that's in the app component. Those are all in unit tests. This is just config. So I did that. Did that one. Good. That all looks good. Source root is fine. We did change the implicit dependencies. That's important. I think all the rest is good. Now if I pop this open, yeah. Now we've got the app and the app E to E. I probably should have used an NX generator to do that. It might have made that go faster. But in the end, we got there. Kind of how I work. Log observable project.json, that's fine. Now my generate should work just fine. So if I mark publishable and then unmark it, should see down here, need to provide a proper import path. It needs to be a valid npm package name. Options. Won't have a module. Change detection, we'll leave that alone. Don't care about that. Display block, don't care about import path. The import path here, we will do at this slash, and we're going to call it log dash. That will be what it will be on npm. So it'll be namespaced under me and then log observable. All doesn't matter. We're going to use ESLint, that's fine. We won't be generating selectors. Simple name. Interesting. What does simple name do? Skip the module. Don't want to skip the selector. Yes, config. We don't care. We're going to be cleaning all of that out anyway, and the style and all of that's fine. Tags we're not using. We use jest as our runner. Can you use v yet? View encapsulation we don't care about, and standalone config is fine. So this should generate logObservable. Where is that going to generate right here? On the workspace root, I would like it to be in libs. Down here. I just added 2 to that. It's not doing anything. I copy the command. I believe that's the command, and I believe I can just go here and paste it. And then I can just add the dry run flag to it. And I need to do pn. There we go. Should dry run that, and it's doing it under logObservable. Do I care? Kind of care, because if we add more libs here that we want to publish, here, change it to libs here. But if I do here, if I do libs slash, or we can put it here in this directory, libs directory. Get rid of that. There we go. So now it's in the libs. Ooh, good. So the directory we want to put this in is the libs slash logObservable. That'll put it there, but then we wind up with like this source lib logObservable. Because that's the name of the operator. I don't care. So we'll go ahead and generate this. It's going to put it in that directory. There we go. We've now generated all of our library. It's adding some stuff that we need. Set everything up. But now inside of here, we've got our libs, our logObservable library. This is where we'll modify the README. go commit this before I do anything. Oh yeah. So we're just going to say that we added log observable library. There we go. And now we can take a look, and like we can do pnpm nx. We can do lint log dash observable. We can see, you know, are there any linter errors going on in there? And we do have some linter errors. And the tslib package is not used by logObservable. So this is a good thing to note when you're building publishable libraries, that the linter will pick up, hey, these packages may not be used. It's probably wrong because we haven't built the library yet. So that's another thing to be aware of, is that sometimes these linter rules will pick up problems. But if you haven't built yet, then no, they may not actually be problems. So at this point, it would be good to just open up WebStorm. Close down this terminal, close this, and in our logObservable library, you know, we've got all of this stuff set up, and we'll look at, you know, the package.json, right? So it's saying that our entry is source index.ts. Take a look at that package. Got this package.json also, our version 0.01, that's fine. Side effects, we don't have any side effects. We shouldn't have any side effects. Should be good here. So in the source, we've got this here. We've also got that. Okay, so it's pointing here is my entry file, and that's perfectly fine. We're going to delete all of this. We don't want it. Just it's a manually, or not a manually, it's an automatically generated project. And inside of here, we're just going to add a new file. And we're going to call this file log-observable operator.tf. It's good. And so now we can go here and we can just grab all of this. Boom, grab that, and we can paste it in. Now we've got our file. Good. So the last thing we need to do is just go here and let's remove this. Now we can just say, hey, export star from, and yeah, there we go. That's all good. This is yeah, it's going to tell us that that's not used, but that makes sense from a library. So now we can, well, let's get version 0.01, which is this, up on NPM, and then we can start making some changes. So take a look at that, and then yeah. So at this point, go here, and stage that. Let's unstage that. Oh yeah. So we removed default component, added operate. There we go. Now push this. Good place. What do we want to do? This is where well, the first thing we can do that we should just do pnpm nx. You can say build log dash observable, and that should build our library for us. If it doesn't build our library, then we've got some problems. So filed with Ivy, we built the bundles and we copied the assets, writing the package map. We built that. So here, should be able to go into the dist folder, into log observable, and we should be able to see what we built, right? We go here, go into our log observable, the dist folder, and our libs, there's our log observable. And so here we've got our types file. Take a look at our types. That's fine. Now we've got our package.json. We should take a look in here. So our peer dependencies are Angular Common and Angular Core. We've also got dependencies on tslib, no side effects. It's not listing a dependency on RxJS. I don't know if that's an issue. We'll have to figure that out. I don't think it's an issue because Angular right now depends on RxJS. So the problem, the README, we definitely need to update. Say, hey, open the README here. And this is horrible. We need to fix this before we publish. Otherwise, the publish is going to be terrible. We'll go ahead and we'll do that too. Looking in here, then we get our lib folder, which is some types, and then we get our ESM, right, which has our stuff in it. Also get our FESM, which is all of that fun stuff. And so things are looking good. Let's go fix up our README file, which is something that I don't usually do right off the bat. But if we're going to put this up on NPM, we should at least let people know what it is. So pop open our README. So there's our log, and this is, we'll just say it's a simple observable logger based on, and what we can do is we can go here, just say, grab all of this, go. And in the README, we can just say that it's based on article that, paste this by, there we go. Awesome. Nice that it auto completes that for me. And we can just say it includes colors, or it includes colors and C for different instances of the logger. So we'll go ahead, and that's our simple stuff. We'll add to this later, but at least now we're calling out, hey, we based it on a specific article, and I think we're good there. So we can close that. We can try, we'll run our build again. Should be fine. While that's running, let's go ahead and commit initial .md. Good there. Push that. Now we're place. What's we aren't using? I'm gonna keep looking at that. That was all built. We're all good there. So the last thing to do is now we can just say, and this is where things get a little bit crazy, but we can just call publish. And one thing to be aware of that I was glad I read up on is libraries. This article is by Thomas Laforge. He's another GDE, really nice guy. But in here, I was glad I read through this before. You build a library, and then what you have to do is you have to add your user. So we'll do that, and then we'll log in, and then we can publish. And then he mentions here that, like, if we don't add access public, then we have to pay, right? And there are other things to worry about, but I was really glad that he had these issues here to look at. Well, let me share this. Copy the URL here. Share this with you guys in the chat. There is that one. There we go. So I want to go here. So create your account here. Then open it in the browser. It's going to open it over here, but that's probably a good thing. Yeah, because I do have to use Authenticator to get in. Go ahead and do that. And one thing I do a lot that I have to remind myself not to do on stream is I like to read the numbers out as I type them. or even speak them under my breath. But there we go. I'm now logged in. So logged in, this is what I see. So there's not a lot of stuff here. So I've logged in. Then his article says the next step we should take is once we've added the user, then we do the login. We'll go ahead and pnpm login. Going to open that in the browser. Another one-time password that I have to remind myself, don't read this out loud under your breath. Don't make the word noises or word stuff with your mouth. So instead, I'll talk about stuff so that I don't accidentally do it. There we go. I'm now logged in. Should be able to just go and publish. So you can add the access public. Now there are other things we can do. We can add a version when we, when we publish it. I'll worry about that later. This one's just going to be the 0.01 version. So let's go ahead and publish that. So I should be able to do pnpm publish. I have to run this from the directory. A good thing to know. So at our terminal, so dist, yeah, we need to move to that when we're ready to publish. That's good to know. So we're going to go to our dist. We're going to go into libs, logObservable. Here we can see our stuff. So at this point, we can say we want to do our npm publish, and we want to set access public. Yeah. But no, let's not do. That's good to know that we're on the wrong branch and it doesn't like that. So really good to know. Very, very good. So how do we fix this? Well, the first thing we need to do is let's just go over to our logObservable. We're going to pull request our stuff in. We're going to create this pull request. And the reason why I usually have to do this is that there's a review required, but I can't review my own stuff. And so, to be a good citizen in the future, it would be good to have my review, but I can't do that. So I'm just going to merge that. We're going to confirm our merge. Now we've merged that in. So we're good. Now what we can do is we can come over here, grab the main branch, and then we can pull this branch. And that should move us up here. Now we've got the latest version in main, which includes all the stuff we did. At this point, what I want to do is I just want to do and we're going to back out of here. And we're going to do a pnpm nx. We're just going to build this again. Just so we're building off of this branch. I'm curious. So this is the curious part of me, but I'm curious if we do pnpm publish access public here. Yeah, that was not what we wanted to do. So the package JSON saved us here. That's really good. So I learned it created a tarball here. If we look, there should be a ball in. Anyway, we want to go to dist libs logObservable, and now we can run our publish access public. Good. Authenticate your account here. Another one-time password. Entering my password. Well, it's not even a password, it's just a token created by authenticate successfully, and we're good. So we officially published that library on npm. Now go here. Go. We can see that we've got the logObservable package, and it up on npm. Look at it. And we've got all the stuff here that we need, and we can install it. There's no license on it. I also don't have go to our settings here. Not what we want. How do I set? Our dependency is tslib. Got to be a way, and I'll figure this out. But like most of the stuff, I don't really ever like to look at it on npm js.com. I prefer to go to the GitHub page that's usually listed here. I'll figure out how to do that here in a little bit. Let's try on RunKit. Oh, it's not there because we haven't. It takes a while for it to. We'll give it time. In the meantime, there's some stuff we can do. The nice thing about this is that we're the only ones that are. Hey, TBD Gamer, good to see you, man. I have so many windows covering up all my stuff that I didn't see you pop in. Good. I saw that you were streaming. What did you call it today? Liked what you said you were Now I can't remember what it was. I saw it this morning when I woke up. Your stream was already over when I woke up but I wanted to say reactive, but I don't think that's it. You had something on your stream that I really liked this. Cool. So yeah, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Let's take a. So we've now published our stuff on. Now let's take a look at some stuff that we should probably do. So let's lint. Actually, let's just do run dash many. Nah, we don't care. Lint logObservable, because logObservable is really the only thing. The rest of it we can clean up later. logObservable. If I can't run it from the disk, I have to run it from here. So that's what I was wondering. We can see now that we've built the project, we don't actually use Angular Common, we don't use Angular Core, and we don't use TSLib. We do use RxJS, but it's not listed in the peer dependencies. And so that is one thing I should have done before publishing. But let's fix this, right? See, I miss Warp. Warp is a really cool terminal because I could click here and it would take me right to the project. So we're just going to go look at the package.json. File system. Sorry about that. So let's go take a look at our package.json, the logObservable directory. And inside of here, it should have ESLint. Take a look at our prettier settings. I didn't really change prettier because it's already set up to run on JSTS. I'm fine with that. We could set it to run on JSM and TSM, but I don't think we're going to use those. So the other thing we want to take a look at is ESLint. Here. So only other thing we want it to run on is JSON files. Apply that. There we go. So now it's going to tell us, hey, our peer dependency fix. So we were missing that one. We don't have a dependency on TSLib. We can remove that one. And I don't think we have a dependency on Angular Core or Angular Common. But one way we can figure that out, well, we can lint this again and the other thing we could do is just do -- fix and get it fixed here. There we go. And now when we come over here, it's all fixed up. Now we've got the proper dependencies that we expect, and that's good. Another thing, it just hasn't caught up. We're good. That fixes up that file. So now if I just do pnpm nx build And I'm curious about if I do affected, do target, I think I can just do -t build. It should just build the stuff that I've affected. Ambiguous argument or unknown revision or path is not in the word. Where am I listing that as the default? Here it is right here. Main. Fine, I don't really care about that file. We'll worry about it later. Other thing we want to do is to go. We're good. One thing I need to be careful about is that I make sure that I stay on my branches. I don't want to have to clean up some stuff if I accidentally commit branch. Is it possible to protect local? Well, the other thing we probably want to do is we published this, right? And so this is for 0.01 publish. Now we've got that tag. There we go. So now we can see, and that's a good thing to do, to see where your tags are. So that, you know, if you have an issue against a certain version of your product, you can go back and fix that version, right? That's one thing to be aware of as we're publishing these. We should publish or tag the publishes. And that's one thing where like a CI/CD comes really in handy because it can tag it for you right away, and then you know you're in a good place. Here, clean this up. Fixed our linting issue. Fixed linting. And so now we should be able to just run pnpm nx affected and run the build now. Yeah, so now it's using the base main and my head version, and so it built the observable, the production build of logObservable. So if we go take a look here, .j file, we'll need to bump that version number as we're working. Other thing we do is, oh, I'm like, what is going on here? Why can't I find my file? Because I'm in the wrong place. Package.json. Here. Is there, that's one of the things I want to do, take a look at. So if we go look at pnpm, there are a couple of things here. Recursive publish. Publish all packages. JSON tag. Latest tag. So we can add tags when we publish. And those are nice to set up on your CI/CD. So your CI/CD can publish with like the next or things like that. Access, no git checks, publish branch. Port summary, dry run. Oh, dry run. That would have been helpful. Get in the habit of doing that. Git checks, publish branch. I'm curious, is there, they've got a doctor? That's cool. What does that do for me? NPM doctor. Nothing. I don't have anything messed up right now, I guess. But is there a way to deploy? Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. So I could deploy to another project, and it would just dump it into the node modules. Really cool. I like that command. So let's just see, can I do npm bump version in package.json publish? Bump the package versions of package.json and publish them using pnpm. You can run the following. pnpm change set versions bumps the versions of packages previously specified npm change set and updates the change log files. Oh, that's interesting. If I just do pnpm version, if I do pnpm-r version-r, can I do a recursive version? So npm change set version. There's patch. This is a cool thing about pnpm is you can patch a package. So one of the things that you'll find like on some of the older packages are working. That's cool. Kafka, and dead letter queues, all that fun stuff. Microservices. Kafka's pretty cool. But pnpm patch package allows you to patch a package, and so when you pull new versions, your patch will stay in place. Really cool. Audit outdated licenses. Exec dlx create publish. Using change sets. It is change sets version of the change sets CLI. Generate a new change set, run pnpm change set in the root of the repository. Oh, that's cool. I often wonder what it would be like to work on a team with a bunch of experts in their respective areas. I wonder if the growth for all would be great or it would just create silos. I've worked in both types of environments. And you ever heard of Conway's Law, TBD Gamer? So Conway's Law is an interesting, and wow, that's bright, but basically the law is organizations design systems in the broad sense are constrained to produce designs which are copies of the communication structures of these organizations. What does that mean, right? In organizations where things are siloed and that knowledge is siloed, that's reflected in organization of the software. So in organizations where there's where they don't trust each other, they silo knowledge, you'll see a lot of weirdness around the communication, right? Where both sides are doing a lot of checks and things like that. And that's not unhealthy, but it shows how they communicate, right? Like, and a lot of times when you get siloed stuff, like one team doesn't want to do things for the other teams, right? Because they're siloed and they're really, really focused on what they're doing. And so what you'll find is like the back end does stuff because they're like, oh, the front end will never do that. And then the front end does stuff, they're like, oh, the back end's so lazy, they never do this, right? And so you wind up with like this weird stuff in your code. That, you know, stuff in the front end that really should be done in the back end, stuff in the back end that really should have been done in the front end. And it's just a mess because they don't communicate. They're very siloed. They don't, right? Opposite side of the spectrum is probably the type of organization that you're wondering about working in. And that kind of organization is a lot of fun. I worked with an organization like that when I was at a desk of the team that I was working on there. We were all full stack DevOps, which, you know, sometimes I like to specialize. I don't like, even there, they talked about T-shaped skills, meaning that you should have a broad top and then go deep in certain areas, right? That's kind of the definition of T-shaped skills. You should understand all the technologies, but it's okay to be an expert in like the front end, or it's okay to be an expert in the back end, but you should understand how the front end or back end works. Right? You should also understand how CI/CD pipelines work and things like that. The amazing thing about that is that like all of the teams collaborated really well. And I learned so much about CI/CD in that job. I learned so much about micro front ends. I learned so much about microservices. It was just an amazing environment. A lot of times I felt like I was drinking from a fire hose because I would show up to work and, you know, there would be like 5 to 10 articles in my, we use Teams, right? There would be like 5 to 10 articles in Teams that I would need to read because, hey, we're doing this new stuff with the CI/CD. You got to figure this out. Or, hey, microservices are doing this. You need to figure this out. Or, right? So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I think you would have a lot of fun in that kind of environment. And, you know, being around experts, the other cool thing about an environment like that is you don't have, I don't want to make it out to be like this horrible thing, but you don't have the front end versus back end dev like argument, right? Where front end devs are like, oh, the back end's so easy, I could do the back end all by myself, blah blah blah, right? And the front end devs are like, what are the the back end devs are like, what do the front end devs even do? All they're doing is just making things look pretty. We do all the hard work. They just make our stuff look good, right? Um, you, you probably experienced stuff like that, and I have, because I know how to say both sides, and you don't really experience that on teams where you don't silo like you get to talk with devs that are very, very good in their respective fields. They also respect that you're good in your field. And so you can have discussions, right? You may not be talking about how backend does things, but you may have discussions about algorithms or different ways of thinking about data or things like that. That really, really was so much fun working with those teams. I've chased that sort of stuff for most of my career, and it's either been we can't afford to do it right or we don't care. Yes. That's kind of the interesting, what do you want to call it? Like the paradox of software development, right? Is everybody knows how software development should be done. Nobody wants to pay for that cost. And let's be honest, if you went the purely academic route, you may never deliver a product, right? On the opposite extreme, if you only deliver and don't think about patterns and things like that, you're going to eventually create something that's just a monstrosity, hard to maintain, and then that leads to a rewrite, and then that rewrite will become a monstrosity, and that leads to a rewrite, right? Probably experienced products that are in constant rewrite cycles because, oh yeah, the people before us sucked and they did it. Never mind that I was part of the team that sucked and did it. We're going to blame it on the people who left and rewrite. And yeah, we can't afford to do it right, or yeah, it doesn't matter. Our clients don't care. Those are common. You'll run into them everywhere. Part of the reason why I code on my own is so that I can go and do what I want to do, and that's probably why you stream too, right? Yeah, I have no time for the mine is bigger sort of attitude. I think we should use tools that fit the job we need to do. Absolutely, 100%. And leave your ego. Don't bring your ego to work. Right? It doesn't help. I really don't care. I care more about getting things done and what we're trying to do. I don't really care about your ego. I will admit that sometimes my ego comes to work with me. I try not to, but sometimes it does. But try your best to leave your ego. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Had a meeting today that was more of the same. Yep. And why you stream. Exactly. And you're going to run into that everywhere. Even on that team that I was talking about, there was a lot of fun where I felt like I was drinking from a fire hose, where I was learning all the time. There was a lot of, oh, the customer doesn't care. Oh, we can't afford that. Or, sure, that's right. If we were building a floating castle in the sky, that's what we would do, but we live in the real world, right? All of that kind of stuff, it's everywhere. And, it's just part of what we do as developers. One of the things that you can do to make yourself valuable is to make sure you discuss those trade-offs, right? I mean, it's perfectly fine for somebody to hand wave and be like, we can't afford that. That's fine, right? And it's okay for them to make that decision, but it's also okay for you to say, okay, but here are the repercussions of us making that decision. Yeah. Good at what you do. You're allowed to have some ego. Just know to put it to the side. I try not to have an ego. And I have had an ego in the past, and sometimes my ego comes out, but I really try to keep it controlled. The main reason why I try not to have an ego is that it tends to shut down constructive discussions. And so if people feel like I don't have an ego and I'm approachable, they're willing to come talk to me about problems they have with the stuff I'm doing. They're willing to come talk to me about problems they may be having, and it allows us to discuss real issues. Or if somebody sees something differently than me and they, I don't have an ego and I'm perfectly happy to hear it, they're willing to bring new ideas. And maybe we use them, maybe we don't, but at least we can discuss them. And so that's why I try really, really hard not to have an ego. And sometimes I succeed, sometimes I fail. I'm going to be, completely honest here, right? Because the people that I've worked with in the past, they attend my streams and they know me. They know sometimes I don't have an ego and sometimes I do, and that's just part of being human. So, but thank you for telling me that I'm good. I appreciate it. I try to be good at what I do, and so it's always good to be recognized. And I don't think everybody wants to be good at what they do. I'm not gonna sit here and try to put devs into different groups. Everybody wants to be good at what they do. The difference between a lot of things is what your values are, right? And where your values lie, that's where you're going to spend the most time, and that's where you're often going to be the best. But nobody wants to suck at their job. Nobody wants to suck at anything in their life, right? But everybody has a limited amount of time, and where that time goes, well, it's up to them. But yeah, thank you. I don't know. I don't want to spend too much time here. We're just gonna do 0.02 ourselves, right? We'll figure out something in the future. Like you guys could there's probably somebody out there who's going to watch this and be like, oh yeah, there's this command that you could run that will do this for you. Absolutely appreciate comments like that, because you guys can tell this is my first time ever doing something like this. That's why I'm so excited that boom, it's up on NPM. I'm like, oh, that was easier than I thought. So yeah, definitely a first timer here. I'm not too proud to admit that. Let's make some real changes for our version 0.02, right? Completely opened the wrong browser. Okay. So our linting works. We've got some problems here, right? So if I do pnpm nx affected, I do -t test, we don't have any tests. It's a big deal. Problem on the end. And our tests ran. I don't even know what tests would have run. Can I throw like verbose on? Yeah, no tests found. Exiting with code 0, right? So we have no tests. That's not good. That's one of the things that I want to fix about this. The other thing that we can take a look at is if we go to the logObservable operator, I've got these colors. And this was the way that I did it before. But some of these colors don't look good with white on top of them. And some of them don't look good with black, right? And the thing is that WebStorm can tell, right? If I were to put white on top of this color, it's not going to look good. In fact, a lot of these colors aren't going to look good with a white on top of them. My blues all look good with whites on them, right? But these ones don't have a high enough contrast. And That's the problem. So let's take a look at what we can do about that, right? How can we make these work better? And one thing we could do is we could change our random color. And we could use HSL here to kind of help us. And what's a good way to show this? So this looks like kind of the mid-range of our blue. And we go all the way up to a fairly light blue here with 00 FF. That's pretty light blue. And we go fairly dark, this one. But these aren't even the same values of blue and things like that. We could do a couple of experiments here. And maybe that's where we'll go. Got a couple of minutes. Let's go do some experiments. And then we'll come back and look at these colors so that we can add this here. So let's go to our component. And this imports the NX welcome component. We don't want that. We don't want the router module either, really. AppRoot's fine. Don't even want template URL. We'll just use template. Style URL is fine. And that's fine too. So let's go and also delete this file. Don't need it. Fine. Be fine. So we removed that. The other thing we don't need anymore is this component. We'll go ahead and remove that. There's two that are not what usages. Potentially unsafe. Oh, so we're using it here. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, we're good. We're just going to remove it. Boom. So we're good there. We can use the app routes. I don't care. So if we save this file, Prettier won't run because I don't have that turned on. Prettier needs to run on save. Enabled. On save. Oh, we'll optimize imports. Run that. Prettier package not specified. Need to specify it. So if I do here and I do reformat, we're good. Someday we'll have like a code editor that keeps those settings in between projects. I have to set them up regardless of what project we're using. So anyway, we've cleaned that out. Why did we do this? Let's run an experiment here. Do that. To do app root. Here, we're going to add a host binding. our host binding is going to have a class play. Yeah, we'll do can't do that here without adding the class. Do it in the SCSS file. Come here, our CSS file. So inside of here, we can grab the host binding, and we're going to say that we want this to display grid, and we'll do grid display columns. And here we're going to do repeat, and we'll do 6 of 1 fraction. So that will give us, and the reason we're going to do 6 is we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do 7. But we'll do 7 of 1 fraction. I want to show what we're doing here. So we've got our columns, and we'll add a gap of that 1 rem is fine. And we'll do the rest here in a little bit. So what we can do now is let's just go grab these. Man, my arrow keys, like I rely so much on my arrow keys, but my muscle memory between moving between my Mac and here, it gets so messed up. So now we can come back to our app component. Let's just go and we will do, we don't need that title. Let's paste in these colors, but you know, this doesn't work. What we can do is we can say, hey, protected, read only, next background colors equals, and then we can grab this and surround it and just go, hey, this is a signal. I really need a signal here. We're not going to be changing this, so I'm not going to make it a signal. It's just going to stay the same. We'll do the same here. The protected, read only, error background colors, great. And the final one is here. They're protected, read only, you know, complete background color. And so now what we can do is we can come up here in our template. Let's swap our quotes, backtick. Really weird. So here, what we can do is we can just go at or, and that is not what we want. We want let color of background colors. I think it's just color of next background colors, right? Yeah. And then here we need a track function, track color. Here we go. So we're going to add, well, this is kind of okay. Not really. Can do better. Way better. So we can go this style dot background color, and that will equal boom and here say boom, and this will be, we're just going to put color in here. So to do that, all we need to do is just add a hash here. You need to remember, go into edit and right, do Alt Shift I if I wanted to add it to all the rest, but where is it? Find usages, column select mode, Shift insert. Does that work? If I do Alt Shift insert, where's my insert? Insert, where are you? I can't find my insert. Got home and delete. Oh, gotta turn off the numlock. Alt Shift insert. Now I should be, oh yeah, there we go. Oh, that's nice. Then to turn it off, Alt Shift insert, and we're good. We turned off column select mode. Now we've got our colors in place. So now we've got style.background color. Class equals next. But can add class equals, call this light dash text. And background color is that. Class is that. So here we can come to CSS file and we can just say, hey, if you're a div, child of me, you are going to have a height 100 pixels. Should be fine. You're also going to display, flex, and align content at the center and align items at the center. And that should do all of that. And then the next thing we could do is we could add the dot light dash text. And here we're going to say that the color is, and we're just going to say white. There we go. So now if we go serve our application, so if we do nx serve, and here we can do log dash observable dash app work, hopefully. Yeah, the keyboard shortcuts mess with you. Exactly. Well, the one thing that really, no schema with key or ref. Serve development. Gotta move stuff around the right way. So we need to look at our project.json for log observable. Log observable. So here our name is that unexpected token colon. So here's our serve, build target, logObservable app. App. I thought I searched for all the log observables. Log observable. Oh, look. I don't know why it doesn't, why it says that that's an unexpected token. We'll do it. Fine, that's fine, that's fine. That's got a zone.js polyfill because we aren't zoneless. Log observable, log observable. Fine. That target is with the dash app. That has the dash app. Has the dash app. Test has doesn't need that. Here, serve static needs the dash app on it. There we go. That's why you should use the generators to move things and not just go in and just be like, yeah, just do it myself. There we go. So now we've built. If we take a look, boom, we can see we've got our colors here. Here it is. We inspect. So the div, the align content, not align content, it's the place. It either, what is it? It's place content. That puts it all in the middle. And we can give ourselves a little bit of a border here. So this is place content, not align. Placing the content in the center, and the other thing we can do is do like a font -8, do like 800. Fine. And here for the host, do margin and let's just do margin auto. And we'll do a max -width of 80%. And that should give us, I use PHP Storm and Data Grip for Mac for work, and everything I use Windows keyboard short. Absolutely, yep. And I think I read that already, but the end key on a Mac is so consistent with, or inconsistent with everything else. Like, I use Linux, I use Windows, and now I'm starting to use a Mac. one of the things that frustrates me more than anything is like if I'm on a web page, in a text box, and I hit home, I expect the cursor to jump to the home, right, of the text box that I'm in. What I don't expect is for the page to scroll all the way to the top. It drives me wild. And the same with and like the fact that it's control or command up and down arrows, like I don't even know what that does. So yeah, like it scrolls the screen here. Um, but to move to the top of a file, it's command up arrow. To move to the bottom, it's command down. It's just like stuff just messes with you. Why can't it just be control home, control end, like Windows, like Linux, like everybody else? Unix, BSD. Why does the Mac have to be different? And that's where you start believing like the what do you want to call it? Like the conspiracy theories that it's a way to lock you in, so that it's tough to move, right? I wanted to be a magician with keyboard shortcuts. I would have learned. At least you didn't say Emacs, man. At least you didn't say Emacs. Because man, those keyboard shortcuts or keyboard chords that they use in Emacs, like Vi and Vim, they're pretty hairy. But once you start getting into Emacs, then you're starting to get into legit shortcuts. So anyway, here we go. We can see we've got some issues with our colors, right? Very, very obvious that this color doesn't work. And trying to do let's just do the app component. Actually, let's go here to the index.html. And on the body, we'll just add simple style and we'll just set a background color. And we'll do like a dark blue. So we'll do an HSL. And so it's RGB. So it's going to be red's at 0, green is at 120, blue is at 240. So our hue is 240. Our saturation, we can make it 100. And our lightness, we can make it like, we'll try like 40. Like that. Probably wants this. There's our background color. That should make it at least a little bit back. Body. Here, if I just do 240 by 140, light enough, 220. Down to like 50. Go, like 9. Or do we just go with like a really, really dark navy of like a 5? Is 5 here. If I refresh this, why am I not getting that? this body text. I need to stop and start the this may be a case where needs to pick up the index again. Yeah, that makes sense to me. So anyway, we've now got a dark background, so you guys aren't being blinded by the background. But you can see that like this green over here doesn't work really well with the light color. And so the thing we can do, we can come back to our app component and copy this again. And we'll do dark text here, right? There we go. So now we need to go into our S and just add our dark text. You know what? We can let this cascade. So let's pull that up there. Here we can say and dark text, color black. That's fine. And we'll shift P. Let's go into prettier. Tell prettier, hey, supposed to also do CSS files. Apply that. Save again. Format with prettier. There we go. Why it wasn't picking that up? Probably because I hadn't changed anything. So now if we go take a look, you'll see that these ones, you struggle to see the dark colors on it. And dark color looks much better over here. Here, the light colors look bad, and the dark colors look okay. One place where this will really show up is if we go to our console here. In our app component, we can come in here and we can just have our constructor. And in our constructor, we can just say for add color. Right? And what we want to do is we're gonna use a little bit of an interesting thing that you can do. You can use HTML to format your text. Use %C. Then you can format your text with that, and use CSS to do the styling. So we can come in here and let's just grab this stuff, because this is what we're going to be using anyway, and maybe it's easier if we just do it this way. And then we come up to our app component here, and boom, we've got that. We've got that there. So we don't need our tag in it. Put the message in. And say that. And here, this is just going to be the color. Inside of here, we can just use the color. And then we're using a white color here. So up here, we can just do const. We can just say white equals. Well, you know what? That doesn't even make sense. Because I'm going to create a variable and call it white. Why don't I just do white right here, right? And this is going to show us, kind of some of the problems here. And then what we can do is we can copy this again. Boom. And we can say, hey, got the color, but here we're going to use the black color, right? And this will allow us to see some of the other issues that we've got. So if we go take a look, of course I tried to pull up Chrome, because why wouldn't I try to pull up Chrome? But over here on the side, we can see where it becomes even more problematic, right? And you can see that, there's not enough difference between some of these codes. Like this looks really good. It's easy to read. This becomes a little bit more difficult to read. This one's okay. This one is kind of borderline. This one's okay. This one you cannot really read, and this one is horrible to read. However, with the dark on them, right? So got some problems with our colors, and we can do this a couple more time. This is next background colors. Here we want to grab and say error background colors. Background colors, great. And then this one, we want say going to be and then the next thing we can do is just do the same thing down here. But we can be a little bit smarter about this. We can say that for color group, this would be const color group of, and here we just do that. Boom. Means we need to add this down here. Perfect. And then now we no longer need to do this. Now we can just do color group. Boom. So now we should get, I'm going to keep doing this. So now we've got, the list of all the error colors that we've got. And over here on the side, we can see that some of these are very problematic. Some of them are not so problematic. Like the dark on this one is horrible. The light actually makes the color look different, right? And again, light looks good, dark no. And the blues are not too bad. Like we chose okay with the blue. The greens and the reds and oranges don't work so well. And there's a way we can fix it. And that has to do with HSL. Need to end here. I'm over by about a half hour. But one thing we can do selector, that's a fill, color selector, toggles the light and dark. Move, flex align, bing, probably this one, ability. So look here. We look at this one, the foreground and a background. We've got a problem, right? We don't pass either of the WCAG, neither the AA or the AAA. On the 2.1, we're at a 3.8. We're at a -70. These aren't good. If we look here, we passed the AA compliance, right, but not the AAA compliance. And so our color difference is a 6.9. And I think this is the luminosity. We look at this one, we pass both, right? So we're over 7. Here, we're at a 3.4, we don't pass either. At a 3.7, we don't pass either. Here, we're horrible. We're at a 1.9. And here, we're at a 2.1. And clear as escape. So here, like a 5.6 passes the AA, and this is okay, but it's not great. This we're at 2.9, so we're less than 5. 5 is about the cutoff area. And we can see here we're at a 5.6. This is okay to read. Here we're at a 3.8, and it's not easy, right? 7 becomes much easier. And then, so this one's actually easier to read than this one. Here we're at a 6.1, and then a 5.6. Here we're at an 11, and so we pass almost everything, but not the APCA. And here we're at a 9.8. We're passing most things, right? Here we're at a 4.3. That's not too bad to read, but I think the dark background is helping us too. But 4.3 is below the 5. 5.2 is barely on the edge, right? 5 is really, we want to be above a 7. And so all of these red colors, and we can see that over here, that this is just all difficult to read. Even this one that's at a 5.9, it's not easy to read. And then, these, nothing here, this orange. So the black on orange hits a 9.8, which is above a 7. That's not bad. Here, with the white on it, we're at a 2. Here, we're at a 5.5. That's not good. 4, right? And then our blues, like 14.4, we are passing everything. Here, 10.9, we're passing everything. 11.2, 9, we're actually passing everything. Here, at an 8.6, we're passing everything. So 6.9, this one's on the edge, and we can see this color here. And it's not bad, but it's right on the edge, right? Between us, we want to be 7 or above. And here we can see that we're at a 10.1. So again, a good color. Here we're all horrible, right? Because the whites all look good, darks aren't going to look good. Why do we care? The reason we care is that we want this to be readable for everyone. And so how do we solve this? A hide popover is not. Oh, that's this is. So Zone.js is picking up on stuff that we're doing. So we want to make sure that our stuff looks good, and the way we're printing it out, we're using white on the color. So let's create another row of like greens, and this time let's use HSL, right? And so what we can do is we can find one of these colors that looks okay for our green. So the 6.9, that's probably the best we've got. No, the 7. 7.2, this passes what we want for everything. So this green here, the 00600, that's the green we want to be around. So here, if we take this, and I believe we can come over here and get a color picker. And then if we set it to HS 8, must be the black level. So our hue is 120 degrees, and so we should be able to copy this. And what we can do is we can say, paste that in. Copy the H. Can I not? Clear to clipboard. Grab. So 120, saturation of 100, and the lightness of 40. Oh, that was loud. So here we can say that, hey, we want protected, read only. And what we can do is we can say that our green base equals, and we can say we'll have an H value of 120, saturation of 100, and a lightness of 40. So let's use that color up here. So what we can do is we can just say, hey, let's just add a div. We'll add light text, and it wants to do an HSL pipe. We can just say that this is the HSL green, and let's, right now, what we can do is let's just go protected. Here we can make this private. So we'll make this one private, our green base. And then you can do protected, read only. And here we can say green base equals signal. And we're doing a signal on purpose because we're going to eventually go to a computed here. But our green base will just take in nothing. And what it's going to return is a string. And the string will be HSL to $. I think that's close this. That got that. So this is going to be that degrees, that percent. And so now what we should be able to do, just say, hey, here's our color, and it's just green base. Okay. Now if we go print this, so green doesn't work. We inspect this. Class equals light. Did I not add the background color to it? There. What is green base giving us again? HSL green base.h base.s base. I think it's the commas, right? The comma. There we go. That's not the same green. And look back to this. Boom. And we change. There we go. So it's 120, 120. So it's a 20% light. Good to know. We can set our lightness at 20. Now, if we go take a look, we've got a similar green here, right? The question is, how much of a step do we need to stay green, but not, but not look the same color? And this is where HSL is really cool, because instead of doing green base this way, we can change this greens. Okay, so we can say these are our greens, and what we can do, we can say, hey, we want to start so let's do like 0. Yeah, we can do up through 6. And what we can do is we can say we want this plus, and here we can do like, no, we'll do like, it's 5. That should give us, 7 colors with 5 degrees of separation on the hue apart. So they should still be green, but it'll be interesting to see how green they are. And that because we need to no, we don't return this. Return this. The closing. And here, actually just go like that. There we go. One goes away. Go. Fine. Boom. I think we're good. So now we can go up here, and this doesn't work anymore, but we can copy this, paste that there. Now we can say for colors of, we can say greens, right? Why not call it green? It. Function. There's that. Oh yeah, we this. Not a there we go. That all matches up. And our signal is greens. And now we should get a bunch of greens that look good. Yeah. So there's not a lot of difference between these, but they're all readable, right? If we grab our VisBug and we go here and we look at this, right, we're 7.2, 7.2, 7.2, 7.2, right? And this is the cool power of HSL, is we can vary the hue and leave the same lightness and get the same ability. This bug is still on. Let's go take a look. So 10 isn't enough for our eyes to be able to tell the difference. There are probably some people out there that can tell the difference. My eyes can't. So let's try 20, right? And that's going to take us all the way to blue, which we probably don't want. We can see that we've gone all the way to blue here. We don't want that. Probably do. Grab this. So that one doesn't pass. That one barely does. That's exactly a 7. And these are still close enough to green that they look green. But out here, we're definitely at blue, right? This is definitely a blue. So what we could probably do, we could modify this. And instead, and this is where I wish we had a range operator in JavaScript, because it would be nice to just be -1 to 3. That would be really cool. And I think there is a range operator in a script operator. I think there's one in the early WC3 has taken it up. MDN has something. document that contains anyway, you know, we're getting lost here, but what we could do is give 3, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, and 3, right? And so now we'll cluster around green. Go take a look at this page. So we're starting to get orangish here, but it's not bad. But these are all readable colors. Whereas, you know, up here we've got colors that aren't that readable. These all become readable. And I'm curious if we cluster, like if we vary by 10. So if instead of by 20 here, or if we vary by just 10? Here, they're too close together for my eyes. Like I can tell there's a difference between here and here, but between here and here it's difficult, and here it's difficult. I want, when we print these out in the console, I want your eye to be able to quickly tell, because what this gives us is the ability to have like 7 log functions in there, and as they're showing up in the you know, as they're showing up here, your eye can quickly pick out. So if you've got multiples, you can pick out. And maybe a gamer needs to call it a night. I probably need to call it a night. But 10 isn't enough. So what if we go by 15? 15 enough? I want them to stay mostly green, but I also and they're getting close. 20 definitely is easier to see. Because there's obvious differences between this, but this is starting to get into blue territory at 180 degrees. Other thing we could do is take like 4 and then vary the darkness also. So take that one off. Right, if we look, 4 are in an area that I'm okay with. This starts to get into orange territory, but these are okay. If we take those 4 and then other thing we do weird, but right now it's going to do, we're gonna spread this, and we're going to do the same thing. And this is the hacky way, and then we'll go back in and fix it, right? But here, now we're just going to vary this minus like 10, right? And so we're going to get 3 colors that are light, or 4 colors that are lighter and 4 colors that are darker. And so now there's an obvious difference, right? So we can tell that there's obvious differences here. They're all clustered around green, and these are darker and clustered around green. And I like that. It also gives us one more color, which is kind of cool. So let's call it there for the night. And we'll work on this in the morning, or not in the morning. Pick this up on Sunday. I'm getting this stuff all figured out. But this will give us random colors, and HSL gives us the power to do this because you know, we're able to keep the darkness dark enough that we get, you know, good accessibility, right? So well, that's borderline. That's okay. That's okay. Okay. That one is definitely, so these ones are definitely okay. That one is very borderline. We're going to allow it mainly because I don't want to worry about it too much anymore. But yeah, good. One last thing I want to do. Go back to the CSS. Make it an 8 fraction grid. And then what we can do here, .ts, we can actually go here and we can go div and dump. Instead, what we can do is we'll copy the there, 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 and there. Oops. F out. And so the reason we did that is that, you know, we've got 8 down here. We can see 8 colors. These are definitely easier to see. We'll continue with the color stuff on Sunday. We'll get that all published. We'll probably get 0.2 pushed. But yeah, thank you guys, everybody, for being here. I have a lot of fun just experimenting with colors and then ideas on how we can use tools that we've got to make colors that work really well. You guys have a great rest of your week. We will see you Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Where we will get version 0.2 out. And then, you know, I'll be out Monday and we'll pick things up with the, we'll pick up the CMS stuff on next Thursday. So a week from today, we'll pick up the CMS stuff with the grid. And then that will finish the analog kind of story arc. I want to wrap that up quick because I'd like to get some Angular 18 content out there while it's still in developer preview, so we can take a look at like some early features there. And then, you know, after we take a look at Angular 18, I want to move into, I want to build a game, kind of like Slay the Spire. Like those games kind of are interesting to me right now. And you know what? Let's not get distracted. I want to build a game like Slay the Spire, but based on professional wrestling and done in Angular, maybe in Ionic. I don't know. So if you guys have ideas, throw them out. I want to tie AI into it. I want to use AI to generate the wrestlers and their backgrounds, and maybe even have the wrestlers talk as you're fighting them using an AI that will be running in the background. So that's kind of what I've got cooking